We are in the world famous Cedar Park, Boom Bap Nation, Cedar Park, crazy. This is where hip hop started. Now, I know there's a new documentary out called The Real Founding Fathers of Hip Hop, and it's a great documentary. You know, I really learned a lot about Queens and other places that were doing music, but this is the birthplace. We never said Kool Herc was the very first DJ. That would be ludicrous. We basically say Herc opened up that vortex for hip hop to start, because it wasn't just DJs here, it was DJs, it was B-boys, it was graph writers, you know, dancers, the whole element, all the elements converged here in Cedar Park to the point where everybody from Brooklyn and Queens would be up in here. So if it started somewhere else, it was something about what Kool Herc was doing, and of course Bam added the culture, put it in, it crystallized it so we can create a way of life out of our artistic expression and flash forth the showmanship. But you know, this spread very fast, you know, so different places were picking up on things. And as a shorty, I live 3 blocks away, so as a shorty, I'd come down here and get right up to the front of the ropes and watch the most amazing thing that I had seen in my life. 2 turntables, MCs, I was a B-boy at first, and it changed my life. So when I speak about hip hop, I'm speaking about it from what I call Atlantis. This is what I call hip hop Atlantis. So I have a chapter in my first book, Hip Hop Decoded, which is called the HERC gene, which stands for Hip Hop's Essential Rhythm Codex. And it basically explains that if you don't have the HERC gene, you need to find somebody that does. So if you don't know somebody that knows somebody that was in Cedar Park, you still have some homework to do about what the true essence of hip hop is. So this is a very historic place. A lot of legendary crews perform here, but mainly Kool Herc. His very first party was up the block, and it got so crowded that he brought it down here to the park. And as you can see, it's a lot of buildings around, so the sound echoes lovely. You can actually hear the sound 2 and 3 blocks away. So as you're coming down the hill on Tremont, you literally can hear Herc's booming system banging. So for those who are the real founding fathers of hip hop document, it was a beautiful documentary, and I really learned a lot. But we don't want to say Herc was the first DJ. We want to say Herc was the first one that truly opened up this vortex for what hip hop has become to this particular day. So I always draw energy here. I still come down here from time to time if I need to clear my mind and get some visions, especially when it comes to hip hop. And you know, it's changed a lot. You know, of course, there are really no parties here, except every now and then there's an anniversary party once a year, I believe, that still takes place in the park, and you get to see a lot of legends come out and you know, pay homage and things of that nature. But hip hop is worldwide now, and we need to know that it had a starting point. You know, and Cedar Park is world renowned as the official starting point. So there are some who say, you know, started here, started there. That's fine, but this is the most monumental spot. Let's just put it like that. For me, Kumo D was one of my primary influences. I grew up with Special K from the Treacherous 3, Tila Rock, Keith Caesar, Funky 4+1, Chief Rocker, Busy B, all of the Cold Crush members. Grew up right up under them as a little shorty. So they all played an influence in me picking up the mic and me trying to harness my skill set. Now, locally, there was a group called the Grandmaster 7. These were the older guys on my block who, after we would come down to Cedar Park, because Herc and Bam and them were the first doers, I like to say. They were the first ones initiating the spark. But little shorties like myself and older guys on my block would then go home and mimic what they saw. So we would go get 2 turntables, go to Downstairs Records, cop the, you know, they break beats, and they would try to emulate what the legends were doing. We were too young. We were only 10, 11, 12, so they wouldn't let us on the turntables until my partner Dave, moms bought him a set, and then we were able to get on. So we were like the second slash third generation hip hoppers. But there are a lot of individuals who didn't get any fame and credit, but helped further the cause of hip hop and spread the gospel, so to speak. So the Grandmaster 7, Ali, Mo, KK, Kevin, a lot of those guys were my direct influences. And then, you know, I picked up the mic at 11 or 12 years old and was trading rhymes with older guys on the block. You know, because back then you could trade rhymes, even though you wind up keeping both rhymes. But if your man said something ill and you said something ill, you take his rhyme, he take yours, and this and that. And those were some of the early days. We didn't rhyme in 16 bars, maybe 4 or 5 bars. You know, I'd be like, Little Bo Peep started to weep because the poor little thing didn't know how to freak. She put on a coat and looked at the clock and went to the disco and started to rock. Yes, yes, y'all. That was my first rhyme. And then you'd be like, yo, Turtle is in the house, and my man Jay is in the house, and that's a part of your rhyme. And then you would get to another 4-part bar piece, and then you would crowd please this. And so, you know, 16 bars, when we started putting songs on record and wax and conforming to the industry, is when 16 bars came about. So those were my first influences, but I was a b-boy first. I used to spin on my head right out here in this park first. Then I was a graph writer, but I wasn't really good at it. I'm gonna be honest, terrible. But you did it. You know, these are the things you saw in the hood, and you had your little black book. Then I would even DJ a little bit, because like I said, my man had the turntables. My favorite DJ was Grand Wizard Theodore. He would needle drop. So I emulated his ability to get down close to the turntables and count the grooves. Grand Wizard could count the grooves on the record. That's how close down. So while other people were spinning the record back, and that was great, sometimes he would get down and just dance to the drummers beat, dance to the drummers beat, dance to the dance and dance. And it was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. If you've never seen Grand Wizard on a set of turntables, kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's really that serious. Then I wound up picking up the microphone, you know what I'm saying, and really going full speed pretty much after I heard Kumo D Battle Busy Beat. You know what I mean? That was just really, really monumental for me, because I had never heard nobody MC like that. And I grew up with Busy Bee, so I know he was the greatest crowd pleaser ever. I know when he came into a party, if there was a battle going on, you could just hand Busy Bee the trophy. It was really that serious. And then, you know, he said something slick to Mo, and Mo went in on him. Now, they say Mo wrote that on the spot, and I'm not gonna deny that because I know Mo too. But I think Mo was writing it in his head subconsciously, just like, oh, why is everybody stressing Busy Bee like that? This is what I would say if I was going at him. Hold on, Busy Bee don't mean to be bold, but put the ball, did the ball bullshit on hold. You know, and then, you know, bits and pieces. And then when Busy called him out, he just went into the corner and jotted down his thoughts and came out and made history. That was a quick paradigm shift in music, because it moved us from a crowd-pleasing essence, which was nothing wrong with that, we needed that, to taking your rhymes a little bit more serious. So when Mo D came out and put that out, you had to go back to the lab and really start writing on a whole nother level. Mo, Kaz, Mel, these are the 3 primary MCs that I would put on Mount Rushmore in reference to, you know, hip hop. So those were my early influences. Very first paradigm shift was Africa Bambaataa, saying that this is a culture, this is a way of life, adding the elements, giving people lessons to study. Because prior to that, you know, we were coming out to the park playing music, and he could just see the vision that this, through art, we can express, we can build, we can elevate, we can spiritually reconnect with who we are. So the 4 basic elements, B-boy, MC, graph writer, and the DJ, and he said the 5th element was knowledge. Now, for those who study, you know, the lessons of Nation of Gods and us, we know knowledge is always the foundation. But because we were already doing it, you know what I mean? By him adding knowledge as the 5th element, it's really, truly the foundation before you can truly understand the spiritual essence of hip hop. So he wasn't really out of line. We just gotta know how to finagle, you know, those lessons and what he was trying to bring about. So that was very key, because he also stopped all the gang violence. You know, there's a lot of gangs out here getting it in, Savage, Skulls, Nomads, and this and that, and he was at the forefront of it. So by us using music now as the battleground, stopped a lot of killing, almost single-handedly. You know what I'm saying? In the 70s, the Bronx was a very rough place. So I'd say that that was probably the very first paradigm shift. Then when Sugar Hill Gang record came out, next paradigm shift, because now we saw potential. Even though King Tim III's record was the very first rap record, the very first one to really make noise was Sugar Hill Gang, Rapper's Delight. And it was critical because it showed potential. It showed that, oh man, we never really looked at this as putting this stuff on wax and, you know, sharing it with the world. And Grandmaster Caz's verse is on that record. You know, Big Bang Hank was his manager at the time and took his verse and didn't even change his name. I'm the CAS, the whole, you know, the rest is FLY, spelled his whole name out. So even though we didn't respect or recognize Sugar Hill Gang as rappers, we know that Grandmaster Caz was a legend. So his spirit is infused on that record. So that would be probably the next paradigm shift. Then the Kumo D Busy Bee battle. The first true, even though Cold Crush had been battling as a group for years, you know, against Fantastic Five and other people, Cold Crush was probably the greatest hip-hop group of all time. You know, 4-piece harmonies, the way they dressed, the way they went about things, 2 DJs, Hispanic DJ, this and that. Kumo D battling Mo D. I mean, Kumo D battling Busy Bee changed hip-hop forever. And then I would probably say when KRS-One got at Shan, you know what I'm saying, another shift. You know, posse, you know, this group, this posse against that posse, but he was restoring the history back to where it originally came from. Even though technically Shan wasn't saying hip hop started in Queens, he was saying for him where hip hop started, and we get that, but the teacher pounced on that opportunity to take advantage of that. You know, there's other mini shifts, like when the native tongues came about in hip hop. They were culturally infusing, you know, who we was back into the music, you know, with the red, black, and green medallions. X-Clan, of course, bringing the comedic sciences of who we were. Public Enemy, of course, infusing Farrakhan and Malcolm X into these records, so it was bridging a gap. So we had a few paradigm shifts that were very serious. Nas, Ether and Jay-Z, smaller shift, but still, I felt Nas was fighting for the integrity of hip hop. And, you know, Jay was fighting for what Jay is fighting for, get his money, this, that. And now you have a lot of multi-millionaires, about to be billionaires, who have capitalized off the culture. So that next shift, we'll see a billionaire in hip hop. Irregardless of how they got there, they're still there. So we have to applaud that to one extent, to say, you know, we've made progress, and you can come up in the culture now and make a good living if you have some talent and things of that nature. So yeah, there's a couple of shifts. Wu-Tang, you know, goes on and on. So a lot of paradigm shifts that I feel are very important. And these are time signatures which boost the culture or expand the culture to, you know, different degrees. So they're very, very important that these paradigm shifts take place.
What would you say to these young hip-hoppers coming up to realign them with the true spirit of hip-hop that we came up with?
Well, therein lies the problem, because they're not getting hip-hop, they're getting rap. And rap is a subculture of hip-hop, because you know, with hip-hop, you know, of course it's based on the 4 elements that I mentioned, but it's also based on intelligence, spirituality. It's founded in who we are as a collective, as a people. Rap music, you don't even really have to have much skills. If you have a hot beat, anybody can do it. Nobody has to sanction you or vouch for you. You can mimic what somebody previously did. See, hip-hop was all about originality and finding your lane and how you can grow the culture and find your own lane. Rap is just about numbers. Corporations have got involved with rap, and they're not into your skill set, how intelligent you are. They want to know, can you sell records? Can you sell product? Now, even more so than records, because records are not selling as much. So it's all depending when you came in on the timeline. If you came in on the timeline in the last 15, 20 years, you may not even truly know who KRS-One is, who Africa Bambaataa, who Kool Herc is, who the L Brothers are, and things of that nature. So it's important for us who do and have retained that history to teach it. You know what I mean? And that becomes hard because a lot of them, they just want to sell records, they want to talk about drugs, they want to, you know, rap music has really taken its toll on what hip-hop, the potential of hip-hop is. But we're still here trying to teach it. So Boom Bap Nation is going to be a great outlet so that we can get the history straight and continue to throw names out there that the young ones have to go study and look up. We're in the information age. So if you mention Kool Herc, the young ones are on it because they're very savvy with their technology, and we have to do that so that we can preserve the history, because if not, rap will take over, and before you know it, and now they're moving away from that, world music is what's popular. You know, them same Pitbull tracks and them tracks that are resonating everywhere you go. It's the same 4/4 beat, boom, boom, boom. So that's about to take precedence. So we have to, those of us who are pure hip-hopists, or hip-hop purists, should I say, we have to continue to fight. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop is alive and well. I understood what Nas was saying. He was trying to basically tell you that if we don't continue to preserve it with integrity, you know what I mean? That this rap will take it over, and before you know it, hip-hop will be a small footnote. But hip-hop is, rap is what you do, as KRS-One said. Hip-hop is something you live, rap is something that you do. And I truly and strongly believe in that. The way I walk, the way I talk, the way I play ball is hip-hop. You know what I mean? So you'll see remnants of hip-hop in a lot of things that we do. Now, brothers may not be putting murals up on the walls, but they got t-shirt lines out still expressing their, you know, their graphic skill set. You know, so we have so much more going on, but it's alive and well on the streets because brothers like myself who grow with hip-hop. See, this is important too. When I say grow, I don't want you to think that we 40, 50-year-old men are stuck on the corners doing this, and no, that's one aspect of it. But as you grow, your understanding of hip-hop should also grow. So this is why at 46 years old, I decided when I wrote Hip Hop Decoded that it was time for us to bring about the higher science, the esoteric teachings, so that those of us who get older, we still can participate in hip-hop, but just from an elder standpoint. So I'm not out here saying, don't get me wrong, when the anniversary come up, you know, brothers be out there getting it in. And there are some who are stuck in the 70s and 80s. That's a small group of people, but in order for a culture to grow, its people have to grow, its economic base has to grow, everything about it has to grow. So hip hop is still alive and well, but I understood Nas's message of what he was trying to say. He was fear. He was afraid that we were gonna lose the truest essence to who we are, which is hip hop.